see. I am doing the things.
We just started recording, so thank you, everybody. This is the first of just a short series of 3 of doTERRA training videos. And this first one is with Dr. Marisa Snyder, our fearless leader and a blue diamond, soon to be presidential diamond. She's done a lot of work and had a lot of success with doTERRA. So today we're going to focus on kind of getting your business off to a great start. So some people who may be watching this may have already been in doTERRA a year, but we were just a little new baby team then. So it's never too late to have that new start and really get off running. So if you started and it was a busy time in your life, but now you're ready to get going, Marisa's going to tell you how she's got herself going off to a great start and how she helps other builders do that. If you didn't do the homework, there was some hi Katrina, there was some in the notes, a why worksheet and a list of 100. And those are 2 of Marisa's like foundational tools for getting started. So if you have not done those yet, go back to my email, or when we send the replay, I will resend those. I found like a nice resource for each to do that. Marisa, do you want to do a little intro or talk about anything I just mentioned?
I think that's good. I think I wouldn't mind doing a little bit of an intro to give you guys some context. So yeah, I've been building doTERRA for 6 years, and one of my favorite things to do is launching new builds. And the reason why I say launch is because, and you don't have to be brand spanking new to ever launch your business. Anytime I start a new builder, I'm launching a whole new team and a whole new thing. I do it over and over and over again. So you do this many times in your business. And honestly, any business that you have, you're always kind of creating that new promotion, that new launch. And so it's just very much, and the reason why we say launch is you think about a rocket ship. I think we've all seen rocket ships on TV before. And we know that about 50%, if not more, of the power and everything that was built into that rocket ship is really designed on getting that rocket ship into the air, right? So much is required to kind of get the business going, to launch it into the air. So I'm a big fan of creating momentum from the get-go anytime I'm launching a new builder. And the reason for that is multifold. One, I want to build belief in the builder. I want to build belief in you and your business. Anytime our businesses take off, like it feels good. You're like, oh yeah, things are moving. I'm feeling good about it. 2, I want to be able to build confidence. And then 2, momentum begets more momentum. Now, not to say that in our businesses we can't have little lulls and moments, but I like it when we can kind of really feel that little takeoff, because we can keep on leveraging that momentum to create even more success. The other thing I want to say, and the reason why the 2 exercises that we gave you today were so important, Bridget, it was the why worksheet and then the 100-person names list. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And were there goals on there as well, or no?
I know no goals, but I'm sure we could pull something up with goals.
Yeah, absolutely. So those 2 things, the reason why those 2 things are important, one, and it's not necessarily that you're going to call upon all those people, but it's amazing to me how many people know somebody that knows somebody who can connect you in. And when I first started doing doTERRA, I made a list of actually just 50 people's names, because it wasn't 100 back then, it was 50. And I knew that a lot of those 50 people were probably not going to start with oils or doing oils or whatever that was. But I also knew that it was important for me to brainstorm and think about who could I have a conversation with? Who could I just mention it with? You know, it's not a full on, like, you know, not to say that I don't take my oils everywhere I go. I absolutely do. I was at Paleo FX over the weekend, and there was a doTERRA booth there, but I was there to speak. I was there to sign books, and I was there to be on a panel. But even just through casual conversations, oils come up, our business comes up, and people are interested. I've always got oils on me. And, you know, the conversation can look different. So when I was getting started, it wasn't like I was like in your face, full court press. Hey, do you want to do this oil business with me? Hey, do you want to get oils going? You know, it was not like that at all. I got a little bit more, I'm a little bit more suave than that. I'm a little bit more, what's the word I'm looking for?
Tactful.
Practical too. Yeah, practical is a great
Or
word.
tactful. Like you're not, you tact. You're not
There
like
you go. It's tactful. So I was very tactful because I had different approaches for different people. But at the end of the day, that 50 persons list was really clutch for me because a big chunk of those people did end up doing doTERRA either as a customer and still are customers today, 6 years later, or they actually decided to do the business with me as a builder and are still doing the business with me today. And so I want to be able to speak to that because you never know. And were there people in the beginning that I thought, oh my gosh, it's a sealed deal. I'm going to lock them up. I'm going to get them signed up. And they were a total no-go. And then there were people who are like, never in hell are they going to do this business or do this or do the oils. And they were full tilt in. And so you just never know who actually is going to decide to do this with you or decide to get on the train. And with oils being as popular as they are now, it's such an easy thing to kind of jump on and do. So I just wanted to just lay the groundwork for that. So that's the reason why we have you create your names list, is you really deserve to go after that low-hanging fruit and to have those conversations with the people who know, like, and trust you. Number 2, the why worksheet. And I think this is really important about any business that you decide to do, is that any business that you decide to do is gonna be hard. I'm gonna repeat that. Any business that you decide to want to be great at is going to kick your butt. And if that's not for you, then you can leave the call. I'm kidding. The beautiful thing about doTERRA is that there's so much ease and grace in doTERRA. But at the end of the day, entrepreneurship, kind of stepping into it, owning your business, there's something to be said about that. Major congratulations and kudos to you for saying, hey, I want to give this a go. I'm super passionate about this. This feels in alignment with me, and I'm willing to maybe have a couple of hard days in order to create something that really means something to me. So when it comes to the why worksheet, it's really about getting alignment with why you do what you want to do. Why is it that you want to build doTERRA? Why is it that you want to build residual income? Why is it that you want to build a business that feels good to you? And the reason why we do that is that, again, anything worthwhile we know is going to take a little bit of effort, and there's definitely going to be days that feel like a struggle. And that never changes, by the way. If you ever decide you want to be an entrepreneur and you want to build something, whether it's to write a book or to do a podcast or to build a program or to, whatever those pieces may be, or to share oils out in the world, there are definitely going to be days where it doesn't work out 100% the way that you want it to work out. And it's when those days happen and you're feeling a little bit discouraged that it's important to connect back into your why, because your why is oftentimes bigger than yourself. And the more reasons why you do something that is bigger than yourself, the more chances that you are going to stick to it, right? And that's the reason why we have you do the why worksheet, is that it really grounds you in. It really locks you into the reasoning why this is so important. Because I will tell you, I have stumbled my way through this business over the years. I've had phenomenal days and I've had hard days. And it's because of my why that no matter what, no matter how many times I stumbled, no matter how many times I thought, oh my gosh, that was a really big setback for me, it always kept growing. It's always grown. And we've been able to create an incredible, not only business, but a lifestyle. My husband and I are going out of town for 5 weeks next month into June. There's something a little bit scary about being gone for 5 weeks because our business is more complicated than it used to be. But back when it was just doTERRA, it was so easy to do it, because so much of your business, once it's running and your team is doing the thing and everyone is working their part of the business, you really do have that level of wherewithal to kind of do what it is that you want. So we're going to be gone for five weeks, and our business will continue to grow even while we're gone because we've laid the foundation for that. So those are the things that I think are really important. So let's talk about that launch pad, right? So what you guys are going to see, I don't think I've taken over. I've done a share screen yet. Let me just grab
I made
that.
you the co-host. I also put in the chat, everybody who's live, the links to those 2 documents. Okay, yeah. And those
awesome. Can you guys see this on the PowerPoint?
Yes.
on PowerPoint, but on the PDF. Okay, on Acrobat. Okay, so basically the cool thing about this, and this is a big lesson for me, is that you don't need to reinvent the wheel. It's all been done for you, and thousands and thousands and thousands of people have done it all over the world, right? And you know, the way that I grew this business to how I grew to $25,000 per month is what I'm going to teach you right now. So just note that this was a solid game plan for me for many, many years. It's shifted a tiny bit, but I still do a lot of this as well. I just combine my online piece with this too. So what we see is that first real rank in doTERRA is called elite. And the reason why we talk about elite so much is that honestly, if ever you want to be a presidential diamond, you just have to make a lot of elites. That's really what it comes down to. And it's a little bit more complex than that. But really, we know that if we can build a ton of elites, then we can build an empire and we can build some serious money. And I hope that's what you guys are interested in, is to not only support all these amazing people with natural solutions, but also to get paid doing it. So the first step is really getting yourself to elite, because it's really hard to duplicate what you haven't done. And that's what I want to show you guys. I pride myself on popping what I call rising up elites all the time. I'm constantly popping new elites because I want to be able to duplicate this system over and over and over again. Now, I don't know about you, but I was definitely the girl who was a renegade, who always broke the rules. Actually, I still do break the rules. And I was terrible at duplication because I was like, oh, I can do it my own way. I was always this renegade. So when I first got started with doTERRA, and my upline, who's one of the biggest leaders in doTERRA, said, listen, do not renegade. Just stay the course, do the deal. I was like, okay, for the first time in my life, I'm going to actually do what someone tells me to do exactly. So I think that's really important. So I did exactly what she told me to do. And then I duplicated that exact methodology over and over and over again to hundreds of women. So what it is launching ourselves to elite. There's actually a checklist. I mean, that's how easy this is to do. So this is what we're talking about, the first 30 days. The beautiful thing is we just duplicate this out for the first 60 days. And it's usually within the first 60 to 90 days that you really begin to feel that rocket ship, right? We think about building a business. We know that this isn't just a flash in the pan kind of situation. We're talking about longevity. Hence why 6 years later, I'm still building doTERRA like I was building it in the first day I started building it. It's why I'm literally the #1 enroller in the entire company, in the entire world. It's because, I don't know if you guys knew that. I'll say that one more time. I'm the #1 enroller in the entire company, in the entire world, out of over 7 million people. That's who your leader is. So, and that's because I have stayed the course. I don't mess around. I'm true to building this business. So that first step is what we call getting started checklist. And I'm going to go through this in just a moment. Number 3 is filling out the elite planner. Step 5 is setting up a daily schedule, because every day, if we chip away at this business, every day we are moving our business forward. Even when it feels like you are just turning your wheels in the mud, I promise you, you are moving your business forward. And I can speak to that because there have been many, many months in my doTERRA business where it felt like I was spinning my wheels, and I was always working towards the bigger vision. I was always building something bigger. Next, we did this, setting goals and identifying our why. We identified, hopefully you guys identified your why. And we're going to talk about setting goals in just a second. Prioritizing your names list. So it's not just it's one thing to actually build a names list. Number 2, it's another thing to get clarity on who you want to focus your efforts on and how you want to focus your efforts. So there should be parts of your names list that is you're going after potential builders versus another part of that names list that are maybe just potential customers that could potentially turn into builders over time. And then prepare to invite those 45 plus people to presentations or one-to-ones. So let's take a look at what that looks like. And then there's other pieces of this as well. Then you're presenting to those people, you're strategizing placements, you're launching your 3 builders or as many builders as you have, you're enrolling 15 plus people. So we know it takes about 15 plus people to become elite in doTERRA. That's about an average number. So the goal is to be able to connect with enough people that you've enrolled that many to really get yourself jump started. And then supporting those people to not only have their oils, but then to know how to use their oils for many, many years to come so that they're consistent customers, like all of us. Each and every one of us, at the end of the day, we're just people who love these oils. We're customers, and we use the products every single day. At the end of the day, I'm just a customer who happen to have a higher level of influence. That's all I am, because I live this product every single day of my life. And then we're not going to talk about building confidence necessarily. I wanted to just give you guys the kind of the rundown. So how we ended up breaking this down as doTERRA leaders was that we created a pathway, a system. It's called the pipes. Basically, the first step of pipes is to prepare. That's to set goals, plan, strategize, do personal development, get on team training calls like this one right here, and then work the launch guide, right? Number 2 is invite. So how do we get these oils out there? And the beautiful thing is your oils, in a lot of ways, really sell themselves. People want to get their hands on essential oils. They want more energy. They want better sleep. They want craving control. They want asthma and allergy and colds and sinus relief. They want headache relief. They want pain relief. They want all these things. And guess what? Oils can do it. They can do all the things that I mentioned. And who wouldn't want a natural solution over crappy synthetics? Next is presenting. And presenting comes in a lot of forms. It can come in a webinar. It can come on, you can do a Facebook Live, Instagram Live. You can do a group on Facebook that you're educating people. You can do a webinar. You can do in-person classes. You can do one-on-ones at your favorite coffee shop or juice shop, right? And I've done all of them. And I've done all of them consistently over the years. So, well, we didn't always have Facebook Live and Instagram Live back in the day, but we have it now. So any of those ways that you like to do what you do, I highly recommend it. In the beginning for me, in the very, very, very beginning, it was one-to-ones. I can't tell you how much tea I drank in the first 60 days of doTERRA. I had so many tea dates. I was drinking tea sometimes 3 times a day. I was going from one cafe to the next. That's just the way it was. I was meeting with people all the time, was bringing my oils with me, having good conversations, connecting with friends, and then letting them know that I was embarking on this new journey and if they wanted to join me on it, right? And sometimes it took several conversations. Sometimes a friend of mine was like, what are you doing? Because I'm curious, and other times I had to date my friends a couple of visits to actually get to have this conversation. Bridget is a great example of this. I dated Bridget for a year before she said yes to doTERRA.
I didn't even know she was working there.
Because I wasn't that good. I wasn't because at the end of the day, I love Bridget. Bridget is like a sister to me. But I love Bridget as a friend and as a colleague. And so if it wasn't meant to be with Bridget, it wasn't meant to be. Luckily, it was meant to be, right? And so it could take some time. Note that there's still people that I'm courting and dating right now that I'm hoping to get on the doTERRA train. But if it doesn't work out, it's cool. Maybe they'll know somebody that they can connect me to. If that makes sense.
Yeah, and I point out too, Marisa, I asked you actually.
Yeah, you did.
Because I had been using them for a year. So I'll never forget, just people who are your customers who are just falling in love with the product. You don't some people with this list of 100, we're going to ask you to get them on the board right out of the gate. But some of them, you're going to be surprised. They're like, oh, I want to sell these. You're thinking, well, why didn't I ask you? But that's really nice because I know people can feel nervous about, presenting the opportunity. But some people are really ready for the business opportunity. You don't know till you ask. And then some people just fall in love with the product. And then they're like, well, I want to share this. How do I do that?
Right. I was on the phone with 2 customers today. 2 customers who've been with me for about a year or 6 months who reached out to me and were like, hey, Dr. Marisa, it's working. Everything you're telling me is working and I cannot stop talking about it. I have shared 10 rollers of your Brain Fog Be Gone with all of my friends. They want to get signed up. They want to sign up with me and I don't even know how to do it. So, so it's a matter of getting them going. So I was on the phone with 2 amazing women today who they already have a gang of friends who are like, okay, thank you so much for making this brain fog be gone blend or this energy blend. How do I get more of these solutions? And customers are like, what do I do next? What do I do next, Marisa? So I was on the phone today just having those conversations, and I'm like, okay, here's what we're going to do. This is exactly what I was sharing with them today, because it wasn't just like, ooh, I have a couple of friends. You can tell the light bulb went off, and they're like, wow, if all of my friends want this, who else wants this? I could probably build a viable business with this, or at least get my oils paid for at the very least, right? And it's such an easy way to get people in the door. That idea of someone using their oils and they're loving them, and you just say, hey, would you be interested in just getting your oils paid for? And it's very rarely that you're going to meet someone who's like, no, I'm not interested in that. I don't want to get my habit paid for. And so that's such a great way to get people in the door. And especially when they're excited about their oils. One of the things I look for in my organization is who's buying a lot of oils every single month. Because let's be honest, each and every one of us knows it takes a while to get through a bottle of peppermint oil, unless you're my husband. It takes him less than a month. But it's some of these oils, like I'm rocking Brave right now. I'm just so obsessed with this one of the kids blends. And I've had this blend for about a month and a half, maybe 2 months, and if there's at least 80% of it left, it's going to take me a while to get through that bottle. And so when I see someone ordering a lot of oils or a lot of product every month, I reach out and just say, hey, what's going on? I see you guys are really loving your oils. Are you sharing them with somebody? Like, how are you consuming that much product? Because in a really sweet way, because most likely they fell so in love with the oils, they're probably just giving it away to friends. Or maybe they're actually selling it to friends and they're already building a business and they don't even know it. Something to be looking out for as you're building. So you're presenting the information. Now, the way that I did it back in the day is I like to knock out a lot of birds with one stone. So I would teach a lot of classes. And I had a teacher, my upline told me if I didn't have classes on the books, I didn't have a business in doTERRA. And I believe that to be true today. If I'm not teaching webinars, or if I'm not teaching classes, or if I'm not in one-to-ones, then I don't have a business in doTERRA. Because you can't build a business unless you're constantly bringing leads in and in presenting and enrolling them. That's not a business, because this is the business model. You invite people, you educate people, you sign people up, and then you support people. And without that constant, it's a constant rotation. And if that's not coming in consistently, your business begins to drop, right? Your business begins to decrease. And I want to really speak to that, because that's any business. Any business has got a lead generating problem. Any business has got making sure that they're educating their clients on that journey, and then making sure that once they're clients, they stay clients, right? That's every business model that I've ever met, except that the reason why doTERRA's is so much more successful sometimes is that people fall so in love with these beautiful solutions, right? It's a lot easier than it can be for other businesses. And then again, the support. So how do we make sure that our people are using their oils and are staying on loyalty rewards, and that we're training our team builders? All of that comes into play when it comes to support. Okay, so let's talk about the getting started checklist. I have a feeling a lot of you guys have done this already, so I'm not going to spend a ton of time on it. One, setting up your back office. And not just setting up your back office, but knowing your back office. And there's so many tutorials on knowing your back office if you go to doTERRA.com University. But also, we can show you how to know your back office.
We're going to do that on the third call of this series.
Okay, cool. Getting support and training. Voila, we're doing that. Getting equipped. Make sure you got all your goodies, right? You got your guides, you've got your brochures, you've got some magazines. All this stuff is through your back office and through what we call Empowered Success. You can order all of this as well. At any given time, I have all of these tools because I either send them in the mail, or I give them to people in person, or I can even email them to people as well. Okay. Then I like this little form. It's just for another time, but it just gives you clarity on what your goals are and the why. We did this already. Then it's called your class planner. So again, like I mentioned before, without classes or one-to-ones, well, we simply aren't bringing people in. So it's important to have classes on the books or one-to-one on the books. So this is just a great opportunity to, like, it doesn't have to be on a paper like this. When I was on that plane after I got trained that first day, I got my phone, I was on a flight, I got on my phone and I looked at 2 dates, 2 weeks from that day. And I remember this was the end of September, it was October. I put a date on the calendar for the 14th and the 20th, I think is what it was. And I launched my business from there. I invited people to both of those classes, and that's how I got started. But how I got people to those classes is I had a ton of one-on-ones. So I sampled people. I had personal relationships with people. I was on the phone with people, because simply sending out a Facebook invite or an Instagram invite or an evite is probably not going to get the job done. Like, again, this is a personal relationship business. You got to have personal relationships with your people. So I spent 2 weeks going out on as many dates as I could with my friends and colleagues, and then invited them all to the class so they could see what it was really about. And if some of them couldn't make the class, I met with them again on a separate coffee date and laid it out in person. So I hope that makes sense. So just making sure that, and the cool thing about it, you know, I ask my leaders all the time, you know, since that day one, 6 years ago when we had coffee together and I got out my oils, how many times have we talked? Hundreds of times. Like, I've talked to my leaders hundreds of times, because it's constant follow-up. Bridget and I, we talk all the time. Bridget and I are text message accountability partners. I mean, we're constantly we're always checking in with one another, because we are committed to each other's success, right? And I'm very committed to Bridget's success, because Bridget is a part of my organization. It's my responsibility to make sure that she creates success. Just like it's my responsibility to make sure that you guys create success as well. So getting dates on the books are super important. Scheduling out your meetings and your time to connect with people is the name of the game for doTERRA. And making sure that you've got oils on you so you can share oils. Now, next is prioritizing your names list, which we've been talking about already, but getting clear. Let's say you made a list of 50 people, right? There's probably a good chance, a good chunk of those people aren't your heavy hitters, or aren't the people that you're going to go after the most. So getting clear on who that person is, and you can highlight them, you can mark them, however you want to do it, to make little stars. If it's in the launch guide, you know, they have a little color coding. But in getting clear on envisioning what your ideal builder is, prioritizing your prospect list, and begin inviting. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. And what I did I still do this too, but what I did back in the day, depending on how serious someone is about doing this, is I have someone take that list, prioritize it down to about 25 people, and then I recommend doing a text blitz, like literally text blitzing your people. I believe Aaron did this, and even Bridget may have done this with me as well. But you just reach out to the people that you think are the hottest. Let's be honest, how we communicate with our friends and our family is our text messaging, is our phone. And I would just send out a text message and say, hey, I would love to get together with you and connect a little bit about what's been going on with me, but also share a little bit about what I'm doing right now with essential oils. Let me know if you're down to come over and do coffee. And I would just send that text message. I would tailor it a little bit person to person, but I would just send it to 25 people. Probably take me less than a half hour, kind of like ripping the Band-Aid off. And then people will respond. They're going to let you know one way or the other. And then from that point, you're then setting up then the next part is you're setting up that next conversation. Either you're meeting with them over tea, or they're coming to your house, or you're having them over for a class. Probably you want to connect with them first and foremost before you invite them to something else. And then you're constantly continuing to add to your list, right? You're continuing to add more people, because as you can imagine, you know, one of the biggest things I get from people all the time is that they're really concerned about working through their warm market. And here's the deal. You're going to run through your warm market like within a month, 2 months max, because our warm markets aren't that big. You know, I'm still the top enroller in the company. I ran out of a warm market 5 years and like 9 months ago. You know, that's how long ago it was. So you're always just cultivating and creating a new market. For many, many of those years, It wasn't online at all. I wasn't doing anything online. It was me always connecting with people, going to other events, at yoga or anywhere and everywhere. I mean, I honestly, on a plane, I'm constantly flying. I sometimes I choose to not sit next to women because I don't want to talk about essential oils the whole time, and so it's embarrassing. I'm like, let me go sit next to some guys because I just don't want to talk about their hair today. Because the second I pull my oils out, the second I mention anything about essential oils, everyone, they want to just talk to me the whole entire flight. And usually I can sign them up literally on the plane. So there's no lack of people. There's no lack of getting people to do doTERRA. It's just a matter of how committed you are to really going out there and doing the outreach. And it really isn't that difficult at all. It's just constantly just being open and inviting and using your oils, and those conversations come up. When I think about conversations and meeting new people, there's really only a couple of subjects that we really talk about. We talk about work, we talk about play, we talk about, our health and wellness. And we talk about, it may even be talking about our spirituality. I mean, those are the big things that pop up. So as you start to talk to people and get to know people, eventually it comes around to you about what you do. And that gives you an opportunity to share a story about why you decided to why you decided to jump into essential oils, why it's been such a great thing. And that conversation kind of leads, could potentially to something more. And that's how it's always been for me. It's not that I haven't been set on finding people specifically, but I've always just kind of opened the conversation with just talking about what people do, and then leading it to like, here's what I do. This is why it's such a great opportunity. I share a couple stories about people who are doing really well and really love it, and how it's been one of the most rewarding things I've ever done. And it just really opens the door for someone to learn more about it. So that's how easy it can be, is just constantly keeping the door open for more conversations. I was at an event at one of our what we call the doTERRA corporate spring events, the daily healthy habit event. And doTERRA corporate, I heard this from one of my team members, doTERRA corporate was checking in, and they, it was obvious that they were doTERRA corporate. The woman checking them in at registration was really interested. So one of my leaders was checking in after doTERRA corporate, and she's like, "Hey, you guys are with doTERRA." And one of my leaders was like, "Yeah, this is a doTERRA event." She's like, "I've always wanted to try essential oils. I would love to really learn more about this." And they were like, "Oh my God, absolutely." And here it was, doTERRA corporate totally passed her up, didn't say anything. And you could tell she was desperate. She was like, "Can someone just tell me about this? I really want these oils." And, it was such an easy conversation to have, because here she was hoping someone would say something to her about the oils and what they do. So, I mean, it happens all the time. I really want to open you guys up to just being open to having these conversations over and over and over again. And continually adding to your list, and even saying something. One of the things I used to say is, and this is what, let's say I'm talking to a stranger and telling them what they do, and I say, and actually, let's say I was just in Austin, Texas, which I was yesterday, and I was like, actually, I am looking for someone in the area that I'm willing to invest my time, resources, and energy into. Is there anyone that like a friend or a family member or somebody that would be interested in wanting to, educate about wellness, educate about essential oils? And what ends up happening is that person's like, "Well, but how about me? I'm interested in it," And so it's so interesting when you ask people for a referral for something. So often they may be the person who's like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, don't pass me up. This sounds like a really viable opportunity." And the thing is it is. It's such a viable opportunity. How many businesses that your overhead is literally the product that you use and some paperwork and your time. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. It's the most inexpensive business that you'll ever run, and it'll bring you the most reward. So this is basically just setting yourself up for success, every single day. Asking yourself these questions: what presentations can I make today, or what preparations can I make today to be successful? Who can I invite to an event or to a one-to-one? Who can I share my information with? Who can I enroll today? Who can I support today? And we actually had a rule, and let me see if I can find the image. Let me see if I can find this image. Okay. Can you guys see that? The 6 daily questions. Did I lose it? Hold on, let me pop out. Sometimes with Zoom, if you open too many things at once, it doesn't like you. Hold on, let me just. Yeah, I got popped out. Okay, can you guys see that now?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so this is basically what my leader told me back in the day. I mean, you want to launch your business, this is it. So every single day, she's like, you just do these 6 things. And I was like, done, son. I will do these 6 things forever. And I've done them ever since. So number 1, who will I share oils with today? Number 2, who has attended a class that I will follow up with, right? Because even if people attend a class or attend a one-to-one or attend a presentation, follow through is the thing that needs to happen. Not everyone's going to be ready that day, and that's totally okay. If you follow through with them, you'll get to follow up and see what's up. Number 3, who has enrolled that I will help better understand LRP? Number 4, who is using the products that I will talk about the business? And maybe not all of this applies. I remember number 4, when I first got started, I was like, gosh, I haven't even signed up a customer. I can't have a conversation about business if I haven't even gotten a customer in the door. But you get that, right? And then number 5, who is building the business that I will support? Number 6, what will I read, watch, or listen that will help me grow as a leader? You know, my favorite books to do that is The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks. The other book that I love a ton is The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks. Oh gosh, what's the other one that I love that I'm forgetting right now? I'll remember it in just a second. And then my other one is GoPro by Eric Worre, like how to actually build a network marketing business. And I'll think of the other one in just a second. Anyway, I'm going to go back into the launch guide for you guys. I want to get back in there. Okay. Can you guys see that again? Yes. Okay. And then it just gives examples for like effective inviting. I'm not going to go into this today because this goes into the more nitty gritty. I wanted to just give you a general outline of what that looked like to get started. So here, let's talk about preparing. So what preparing looks like earlier, scheduling that class or that one-to-one, and just making sure that you always have these things scheduled out, that you're always doing that. You're always meeting new people, connecting with new people. You're on the phone with people. And let me tell you, you will spend a lot of time on the phone in this business. More than anything. I'm always on the phone working doTERRA, which is not, that's actually quite an easy thing to do. It's not like crazy labor or anything. It's just connecting with people, getting them excited every step of the journey, right? Presenting. So we have a class called the Natural Solutions class or the Medicine Cabinet Makeover class. It's really the 101 class. I taught this class all the way to gold. So I got to gold in doTERRA, literally teaching the same class over and over and over again, right? And still to this day, I teach this class because most people need the one-to-one of essential oils. So I think that it's one of the things that you should learn first. Next is next step is sharing the products and the experience of that class, inviting guests to host the class, and then introducing how to enroll. And enrolling, it's a whole nother topic of conversation as well. But basically, after you present, you're really giving people the opportunity to get set up with doTERRA through a membership and through a kit. And those are logistics we'll go over to another time. See, I wanted to make sure I hit all the pieces that I wanted. And then after you get them signed up, really what it comes down to is within those 48 hours, you want to reach out to your new customer. You want to send them a welcome email. You want to make sure that they're all good to go. Within a week, you want to go over their oils with them so that they understand how to use their oils. The worst thing that can happen is when someone gets their oils and doesn't know what to do with them. Next is worth talking to them about hosting a class for you so they can get their oils paid for, or they can get a big prize. I can't tell you how many of my customers I've hosted classes for over the years, and they've introduced me to some incredible customers and builders over the last 6 years. And then teaching people how to build the business. So I wanted to just go over the launch guide in a nutshell so you guys can kind of see what that looks like. I'm going to step out of this for just a second. And I want to show you guys my Epic email real quick. I'm just looking for it. Okay. So anytime I launch a new builder, I send them this Epic email. And the cool thing about this Epic email, and that you guys can absolutely use this, basically, I need to understand if someone's an actual builder or not. A lot of people talk about it, not necessarily do it. So I give them calls to action right out the gate, because I know that if they do these 4 things, that they are going to be set up for success to build their business. If they don't do these 4 things, we can't move them ahead in their business. And this would be the same kind of 4 things anyone would need to do to build any business. So the big calls to action I have people do, which is a part of what you did today. Number 1, you got to do a 100 person's name list, or at least 50. I say 50 because that's what I was required to do back in the day. Number 2 is you got to write out your why worksheet. Again, and we talked about that earlier. Number 3 is create a 30 or 60-day goal for your doTERRA success. Because if you can't measure your success, it's going to be really hard to move forward in your business. And then number 4 is that doTERRA actually co-created what I call Launch Camp, which is a 4-hour video series on every single aspect of how to build your business in 4 hours. And I usually have you break it up into 1-hour pieces, but you have a week to watch it. So these first 3 activities, the 100-person names list, the why worksheet, and the 30 and 60-day goal, literally takes an hour and a half to do. But as easy as it is to do it, it's super easy not to do it. And that's really what it comes down to, is whether someone's going to do it or not do it. And this determines whether someone's going to build a business with me or not. So those are the first things I always recommend anyone do when they're starting to build their business, because without those first 3 things, we don't have a business plan. We don't have a business landmark to kind of base off of. So I want to talk about the 30 and 60-day goals. Now, the cool thing about 30 and 60-day goals is that there's a lot of different types of goals we can create. Depends on what you want to do. Now, you should know as a leader, I'm rank driven, because I think it's great to be able to knock off those cornerstones, and rank literally equals the amount of money that you make in doTERRA. So that's why I love to get my people thinking in rank goals, so that as they're checking off the rank goal boxes, they know that they're making more money over time. Now, in the first 30 days for me, I wanted to be elite in doTERRA. In the first 60 days, I wanted to be premier, if not silver. Those are my goals. They were audacious, but I hit them all. And it doesn't have to be that. But what I have examples is in those first 30 days, you enroll 5 new customers. Or in those first 30 days, you sign up your first builder. In your first 30 days, you host your first class. Or it could be you close $1,000 in sales. Usually a class will result in $500 to $1,000 in sales. If you have invited people and you've really connected with them, by the time they get to that class, they're ready to buy oils. And they're usually going to spend about $200 per person. So if you can get 5 people there, and on average they spend $200 per person, you have a $1,000 class. Or you want to hit rank, right? So maybe it's a rank goal of director or executive. It really depends on what your goals are. So those are what I consider to be really solid and very achievable 30 and 60-day goals for doTERRA. And it's just a matter of what it is that you want to focus your efforts on. For me, hosting that first class and enrolling 5 new customers or 4 new customers, I think is a very tangible and very achievable goal. And it really gets you feeling like, okay, now I understand parts of how this works. I get all the facets and the pieces of it. If you really want to be audacious, you set a rank goal and say, you know what, I'm pushing for the moon. I want a $2,000 month. I want to hit executive, or I want, even so much so, people can hit elite in their first 30 days. That's $3,000 in doTERRA essential oils, right? And as crazy as that sounds, it's absolutely doable, right? You can get 15 people signed up in month 1. We've done $3,000 in sales. And then if you can convert a chunk of those people over, next month, you already have $1,000 in your organization, and it's just another drumming up another 2,000 PV to get to a lead again. So, that's the great thing about it, is it constantly builds on itself. Now, the last thing I wanted to share with you is the other important calls to action. So the other important calls to action is creating daily habits with doTERRA products. It's really hard to speak about a product or speak about what you're selling if you're not using it personally all the time. So I ideally want you using the skincare. I want you using the cleaning products. I want you using the supplements. I want you to use all of it, because the more you can speak to it, the more, like today, I've used 30 plus doTERRA products already today. Usually I use 30 products before noon. And that's because it's a fabric of our life. It's what we do every single day. I don't even think about it. It's just a part of who I just wake up in the morning, I use 20 products, and so it's just built into my everyday life. So be thinking about, like, the more that you can speak to it, the more, that's because you're using them so consistently. And if you look at my team, there are girls who blow me out of the water. They use way more products than that, so I'm a good benchmark. Using about 20 products a day is a good place to play. Next, setting up one-to-one appointments and enrolling and connecting about joining doTERRA as a team. Again, it takes 15 enrollments to hit elite. That's the first benchmark. And then schedule out your first 3 classes or your first 10 one-to-ones. Also recommended books. Okay, there's the book. It's in the email. So GoPro by Eric Worre, The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson, and then again, Gay Hendricks, The Big Leap. Those are the first 3 books you usually have people in doTERRA read. And Rachel Hollis, Girl Wash Your Face, right? That's a great book to get started with. And then Launch Camp is down below. Also, I think it's important to understand the compensation, because you should know how you get paid in your business. We always should know how we get paid in our business. And so this is a great video to actually understand that. And then any FAQs or questions you have about compensation as well. And then in this last part of the email that I send out, it's actually how to teach your first class. So many years ago, I actually recorded a video and I trained you how to teach your first class. And that's in here. And then here's all the tools to start teaching for your presentation. These are all the things that you would need. And then here would be the link to actually go and buy your paperwork, right? And that is the Healthy Can Be Simple guides, the Live guides, the Share guides, the Build guides, the Natural Solutions class, the Launch Your Business, and this is the new sales guide right here. And then here's all of the other guides depending on what rank you're in, right? So those are, all of it's right here. What I love about this email is it's all available to grab. You just click the links and there you go. So, and I can send this off to Bridget. I think Bridget has this, so we can get this all to you guys in case you want to use this for your customers or your builders, potential builders, or you yourself want some of these resources. Now, the last thing I wanted to share, because I'm going to maximize all of my time today because there's so much to teach you in such a small amount of time to do it. Don't mind me, I'm just going to find my build guide. Okay. Okay. How many of you guys have seen the build guide? Everybody? Okay. I love this guide so much. This is how I introduce new builders to doTERRA. This is how I introduce anybody to doTERRA. I mean, builder-wise. I don't give this to customers. They would be like, what is this? So anytime I'm having a builder conversation, I am busting out this guide. Okay, so this is, it's basically talking about trading time for dollars versus building a pipeline, and what true residual income looks like. And the great thing about doTERRA is it really is true residual income. I know so often people feel like it's so far-fetched, and I never thought it was far-fetched, but I didn't know how far I would go to building doTERRA. But now that I've been in doTERRA for 6 years, just note, I just wanted to share, in the first year that I built doTERRA, I was making $10,000 a month in the first year of my business. And I was cranking. I was building the business. I was building doTERRA 20 plus hours a week. Like, I treated it like I was building a brand new business. And because of that level of time and effort and commitment I put into it, I was at $10,000 a month by the end of year one. I know that that isn't for everybody, and that's not everyone's path, and that's totally okay. But note that the propensity for making that kind of money is very real, and people are doing it all the time. If they've got that kind of hours and time to spend, like I did at the time, they could turn that into a very viable business very quickly, where you've got a 6-figure income, right? So this talks about why partnering with doTERRA. I'm not going to go into these details right now. You can read this, but basically the company, as you guys know, is a multi-billion-dollar company. It's about to be $3 billion in the next couple of years. It's opening its own healthcare clinics and hospitals. I mean, what? Who does that? That's how audacious this company is. It is going nowhere. It's growing consistently. It has not plateaued, and it's changing millions and millions of lives. We're about to hit probably 8 million at some point this year, and growing.
Marisa, are you trying to show the build guide now, or are you just talking about it?
Yeah, is it not? This is what
That's stuck again.
It's stuck again. Okay, hold on. Sorry about that. Okay, can you guys see it now?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, so I was showing you is just this right here, financial freedom, why partner with doTERRA. And the thing is you don't need to know these things. They don't need to be memorized. It's all on paper. You can just cue to it. This is very powerful. It's a very effective business strategy. doTERRA has done a marvelous job at building this. There is no direct sales company in the world like doTERRA. It's a very unique opportunity because it's not even like direct sales. It's the least direct sales kind of market you could be a part of. I think that's why people are so attracted to it, is because it is such a unique opportunity. Okay. Now what I want to show you is I want to get some clarity real quick. So again, we talked about the pipes, right? That's what this is. Just how easy it is to build this business, right? And as long as you follow the pipes, you really are set up for success. You just got to keep going out there and lead generating. And there's so many different ways to do that. We talked about that today a little bit as well. And then what I want to talk about is these, hold on, I'm looking for it real quick. Could be, okay, this is what I want to talk about. So when I'm first having these, and I'm going to have this conversation with you right now, actually, this is why I'm having this conversation. And you already may decide where you're at. So when I first bring a new builder on, I'm having that conversation. I had this conversation twice today with 2 women. And I wanted to just know kind of what they wanted to build. What kind of money did they want to make? This was what mattered, because this really dictates how much time and effort you're going to put into your business. So the first conversation, and this is how often we get a lot of people in the door with doTERRA, because a lot of people do love the product and they do love the idea of getting their oils paid for and maybe a little bit more. So we have 3 different pathways that we talk about when it comes to doTERRA income. And the beautiful thing is all pathways are viable. There are thousands of people that are in every single pathway. Clearly, there's more people in pathway 1 than there are pathway 3 because they chose to participate in pathway 1. So pathway 1 is really someone who decides, I'm loving these oils, they're changing lives, I'm already making blends for people, I'm already sharing oils with people, I just don't actually have a strategy yet. But I want to be making money with doTERRA because I'm kind of already doing it without making money, right? And this happens to lots of people. So we sit them down and I say, okay, the first real pathway to this income is paying for your product. And what does that even look like? Well, what we look at it as is it's someone who's making anywhere between $300, I honestly think $300 and $500 per day, or per month. No, sorry, per month, not per day. $300 to $500 per month. And what that looks like, we're talking about rank advancements, is it's usually an executive, an elite, or a premier. And those are the first couple decent ranks in doTERRA. And what most people are committing to is about 3 to 5 hours. I would say 5 hours per week is being committed to this, maybe even up to 7, but you can definitely get away with doing 5 hours per week. And again, you're enrolling people, you're having, coffee with people, you're doing one-to-ones with people. but you're enrolling a decent amount, and the people that you've enrolled see the vision because there are people who love you. They're probably the people that you thought of first, and they catch the vision like you. You're making $300 to $500 per month. And I'll be honest with you, I think each and every one of us could use an extra $500 per month. I could pay for a whole lot of things with an extra $500 per month. If you guys wanted to give me $500 per month, I absolutely could pay for a couple of things, including our phone bills, right? Our phone bills, my matcha latte addiction. There's a couple of things that I could pay for. Next, we've got pathway number 1. And what's important in this conversation is that you understand the amount of hour commitment. It's really not a big hour commitment. You're telling me that I can make $500 a month with the spending 5 hours a week? I mean, that's pretty reasonable. I can get down with that. And it feels good to me because I'm kind of talking about stuff I love to talk about, right? Number 2 is supplementing your income. This is where someone's taking that 500 and they could be making anywhere between $500 per month and $5,000 per month. Now, I recognize that that could be more than supplementing someone's income, but let's just say that's where we're playing. Now we're talking about, if you're making $5,000 per month, or even if you're making $3,000 per month, well, with that, let's be honest, there are people who don't make that much money per month with a 40-hour work week, right? That's out there. So when you're looking at that, we know that if you're making $3,000 to $5,000 per month, you're probably at least working 10 to 12 hours per week, right? And I'll be honest with you, you can build pretty far in doTERRA just working 7 to 10 hours per week. You can get yourself easy to gold at that amount. And that's really what we're looking at. Elites, silvers, golds, maybe even platinums, where we're making this kind of money per month. And there are tens of thousands of doTERRA leaders making that kind of money per month. Everyday people, ordinary people making more extraordinary money. And that's really what it comes down to. Not only are you enrolling people, you're probably enrolling a couple people per month, but you also have builders who are doing the same thing as well. You're building a business, and you can still be building that business with your team at about 10 to 15 hours per week. Okay. Then we've got the next level. This is the third level of building your income. This is what we call replacing your income and duplicating your income. Like you're maximizing it. Anywhere between 5 to 10 to 15 to 20 to 40 to $50,000, maybe even more per month. This is someone who's like, I am going to really build a business with doTERRA. And this was the button, this is the box that I checked. I knew from the get-go that I was going this direction. I knew the kind of money that I wanted to make was the kind of money that was going to bring my husband home. It was the kind of money where I was going to go to Europe for months at a time. That's the kind of money that I wanted to make. And we were making that kind of money within the first year. So this is definitely a bigger commitment, right? When you're making $20,000 per month, best believe you're going to be putting in hours at that time. So that commitment is 15 to 30 hours per week. It's still not even 40 hours per week. Or at the moment, you really can build this business on 30 hours per week. There was definitely a time where I was probably building it at 40. When I was diamond, or when I was building a diamond, which was when I was making that $10,000 per month. But you're consistently enrolling, you're consistently bringing on customers, you're definitely teaching classes, you're training leaders, you're training team members, you are building a legit business. And so I wanted to just give you guys a sense of what these 3 pathways look like. In every step of the way, we're doing personal development. Even in getting your products paid for, you are doing training, you are learning about the oils, and you are doing a little bit of personal development. But especially when you step into these 2 zones, you're leading organizations, you're helping other people build their businesses. And in that rate, you really do want to get a handle. You not only are you participating in trainings, but you're running trainings. Not only are you're participating in personal development, but you're also educating on personal development. So just know that these next tiers, there's a lot more than just making that money. You really are showing up in a bigger level and really supporting your people, which in its own right is just a really great feeling. So I wanted to just lay out the 3 big pathways. And I just want you to sit with it for a second. And you don't have to say what pathway you like or want, but just be thinking about what pathway, you would like to consider jumping into. Now, Bridget's already in pathway 2. She already is in that pathway. You know, Bridget's in pathway 3 with me as well. I think Bridget was always in pathway 3, but that's where Bridget is at the moment. She's really sitting in pathway number 2 as a silver gold leader.
Yeah, I was thinking about the word builder today as we got ready for this training, and you really are building like layer upon layer, right? So I want to be to diamond level, and I'm not there yet, but I'm building. And then, like you said, there's up days and down days, and I think it's great to have big goals, and then just be aware of where you're at and what's the next few little steps where you're at, and then just building that. I love the level of elite and getting 15 customers, because when you can master that, you can teach other people to do it. So it's kind of some of the toughest road in the beginning, but it's really where you learn your skills, and then you just make more systems and learn to grow teams. So really anything you want is possible. It's just a matter of deciding it, and then just keep taking those steps.
Yeah. In the 6 years that I've been building this business, it's not become more hard or more challenging. And the reason for that is it's the same thing over and over and over again. If anything, at this level, it can be monotonous, because, it's not monotonous for me, but other people may say that, because it really doesn't change. At my level, as almost a presidential diamond, it looks the exact same as it does for you at any level you're at. It always is going to look the same. So no matter where you are in this business, you're basically doing the same things over and over again. You step up at a little bit of you step up in the sense that you're leading more people, so you feel more called to that responsibility and that ownership. But at the end of the day, you yourself are still doing the same things. I still do that list that I gave you guys. I'm still reaching out to people every day. I'm still signing people up every day. I'm still presenting every day. I'm still following up with people every day. I mean, it has never changed. I would say that at the height of it, when I was doing at the height of it, when I was I was solidifying diamond, or I was building diamond to blue diamond, I was just doing more conversations. I was just talking to more people. I was just having more classes. I was just following up with more conversation, but it was all the same thing over and over again. So once, like Bridget said, once you master getting to elite, it's just a matter of doing that at a level of expansion. You're just doing more of it. You're just having more conversations. You're just presenting more. You're just drinking a lot more tea. That's really what it comes down to. And so that's what I wanted to emphasize, is that, and really the number one secret sauce to this business, more than any other business, and because it's so low overhead and it's so low in terms of risk, is that the only difference between you building this business successfully and not is just sticking to it. That's it. I just kept doing it every single day, day in and day out. That's the only difference between me and anybody else. That's it. And so as long as you're willing to continue to get up and dust yourself off after you've had a bad day, then it continues to build. I've gotten on planes, I've paid for plane tickets, I've rented cars, I've rented hotel rooms to come and teach a class with someone new. And guess what? When I got to that event that night, nobody was there. I paid to fly and travel, and no one was there to attend it. And you know what? It's happened multiple times. And it doesn't matter. You're going to have those kind of days where you flew all the way across the country for something, and guess what? No one's there. So, you take care of that leader and you head on home and you do it again. And so that's what I'm talking about. It's just the only difference between you and somebody else is saying, okay, today I'm getting out my phone. Today I'm going to work my list. Today I'm going to text my friends or my colleagues or my people. Today I'm going to set up those one-to-ones. Today I'm going to set up that class. I'm going to teach that class. I'm going to enroll those people. I'm going to follow up with them, and I'm going to do it again and again and again. And that's really what it comes down to. And, you know, it's just not more complicated than that. It doesn't really get that much more complicated. And you've got your leaders who are me and Bridget, who can show you how to strategize where to put people, or what kind of builder you may have. That's the beauty of having leaders like us. We've been through the rigmarole of things. I know what a leader looks like. I know what a builder looks like. I could tell you, okay, put this person on your second level, put this person on your front level. It's really, you know, you don't have to know a lot in the beginning to get started. You just have to be willing to just put one foot in front of the other and start making the calls. Because that's all it is you just start reaching out to people. You start sharing your passion for oils. You start offering them the opportunity to get signed up, and it just runs like magic. It really just does that.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Marisa. Do you want to, I know we're a little over, do you want to take any questions or sum anything up, point anyone anywhere? Do you have any homework?
Yeah, my homework. So my homework for you is going to be, one, if you don't have your goals on paper, you should always have goals. I don't care what level you're at. I don't care if you're just getting started or you've been in it for a year. You always got to have a goal on the table. So have a goal for 30 days or for 60 days. Set a goal up based on where you're at in your business, and share it with us. Let Bridget know, or let your upline know what that goal is, so we can hold you in the most beautiful and wonderful way accountable. Because this is what success is. Success is, number one, committing to do it. That's number one. Because if you don't commit, I don't know. Then you don't go nowhere. Number two is community. So having a chance to rely on us, to connect with us, to connect with your peers, connect with people in your organization, connect with your team. So number two is community. And number three is accountability, right? So having that goal, letting us know what that goal is so that we can keep you accountable. Because that's why Bridget and I were text message accountability buddies every day. Every day in the morning, we text each other and we're saying, okay, I am doing this. Bridget, I'm going to do these things today. And then I text Bridget by 9 p.m. that night, and I tell her I did the things I said I was going to do, because I'm accountable to you. And that's what I promised I would do. So having accountability is super important. Those are going to be the big things. So setting your goals up. And if you haven't watched Launch Camp, I want to invite you to do that, because it's those little nuances, those little details, which, you know, I can't teach in an hour. That's what Launch Camp is all about. And those little details are something that you're really going to want to know. And if you don't, and number three, if you don't understand how you get paid in doTERRA, that you got to understand. You've got to know how you get paid in this business in order to make money in this business. Any business you have to know how you make money in your business, or you can't control those numbers. So those are the three things that I'd recommend. Know how you make money in the doTERRA, have goals, let us know so we can have accountability, and watch Launch Camp if you haven't done so already.
Thank you so much. I'll share some of those links, that super letter, what do you call it? The big email. I think some of that
epic email. Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of changes some of those links over time. So maybe I can get the latest version of you. And doTERRA's been publishing some new training videos, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I can share those as well. I mean, there's no shortage of things to learn. Like, if you told me when I started, and there's also can be no shortage of excuses, frankly, like things that get in our way. I can tell you, I'm a busy person. Marisa's a busy person. Erin is here. It's a busy person. We're all busy. We can all find reasons. And there's some days where you're just like, I can't get that thing done. But, Marisa and I are sending our chores to each other every day, and we're getting them done. And, we get it done. So my son is 10, and he's not getting his homework done and turned in. And, it's everything, right? So it drives us crazy. But I also find with him, if you feel like, oh, there's just too much going on, it's too hard, with him, we're write it down, create some order out of the chaos, create some systems, create some times that you do things, get an accountability buddy, do what you need to do to be successful if you feel like, life is getting in the way. Because you do need to take these steps to make your business. I love the idea of launching now if you're starting, even if you've already been in this a year, because we were a new team, and I didn't really know how to get people launching but I'm learning. And I did my list and I did my why, and I teach a class every month. So, you know, it's like just, you know, like Marisa said, just doing the steps. So we're happy to support you. And just please let us know if any questions. We'll also have our second training with Erin same time next Monday. This is Monday, right? And then I'll do a third on back office. So thank you so much for attending. Thank you so much for your time, Marisa. I just turn you on and look a little wind-up doll. You just go. You have all this information. you just like, here it is. So I hope that people, you know, were able to take some notes and really benefit from it. Katrina is saying, thank you so much. She's been listening homesick with strep. Oh, that's a bummer. Well, thank you so much. See, that's dedication. Like, you don't have to sit up. You can lay down and listen to this stuff.
You know, it's all about being present. Yeah, and showing up. So Katrina, honey, thanks for showing up. And what I really just wanted to emphasize today is really the ease of it. Hi, honey. Is the ease of it. Really, it's, you know what, you love these oils. You want to share them with people anyway. We might as well get you paid doing it. And there's just a couple things you got to follow to do that. But what I was really surprised, because I'd never sold anything in my life, technically, and I was super freaked out about that idea of never selling anything before. And I just realized I was just telling people about how to use oils and how much I loved oils. And they were like, yeah, that sounds awesome. I want to love the oils like you love them. And I'm like, okay, well then let's get you signed up. And they're like, okay, well, let's do it. So it really wasn't, you know, it's really about what it really comes down to in this business is that you have a commitment to follow through. If you look at all the little steps, it's just follow through, follow through, follow through, follow through. As long as you love people enough and care enough about people to follow through with them throughout that journey, then you've got customers for life, you know, and you've got a viable business. And that's why this business is so viable, because it really harnesses your passion, and it harnesses people's want to be well and to have something natural for themselves. So that's why it's such a win-win. So I appreciate, thank you guys for letting me come on and share. And I hope I made it feel a little bit easier in just the breakdown of things. And really, the biggest thing that I see as a stopgap is someone just deciding that they're going to do it. And that's really it. Because it's not hard to do. It's just, you got to just want to stay motivated to keep on doing it. That's really what it comes down to. You know, and what kind of messes with us is just belief mindset, the stories we've told ourselves, the things that someone may have told us once upon a time, not believing that we deserve it, not thinking that we're worthy or smart enough. And that is the only reason that people get stuck, is that it's just whatever happens in between these two ears here is the only thing that keeps. I watched a 90-year-old woman walk as a platinum in doTERRA last year in a wheelchair. You know, I mean, it's crazy to me. Like, I was like, God, well, if that 90-year-old lady can do it, I mean, who else? You know what I'm saying? So I've seen women in wheelchairs. You walk, you know, it's amazing to me, the things that I've seen. And just as they were like, you know what? I'm sticking to it. I'm committing to it. I'm going to stick it out no matter what. And that was the only thing. That's all it is. It's actually, this business is not a hard business to build. It's just a matter of being out of your own way. That's really what it comes down to. All right, you guys. Love you. I got to run.
Thanks, everyone. Yeah, we'll see you in a week.
Yep, see you guys in a week.
Bye, everybody.